Okay, tonight we're going to talk about the for each loop container. And this is really excellent because I wanted to talk about the ADO record set here for a while, and I've just kind of been putting it off and kind of trying to come up with a good excuse or something. But anyway, this is an excellent reason to talk about that. So let's go ahead and drag one of these onto the thing. We got a for each loop. There we go. Got a for each loop, and I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory, right? We're going to do something for each item that we loop through. Now let's go ahead and look at this real quick. We're going to set up a specific instance here in a minute, but just your general thing here, it's the collection that you're interested in. Now you've got for each file, and that's a really good one. I like that one because that's that allows you to just loop through files and you can do whatever you want with them, right? You can load them into one source or another. You can take something out of those files and do something with it. You got all kinds of avenues to do there for each item, and that's just, of course, you just start. Everything here comes on the other screen, but you can just start adding items here by hand, right? For each ADO, and we're going to say for each from variable, node list, or SMO, and we're going to leave most of those alone right now. And what we're going to really do is we're going to concentrate on the for each ADO enumerator because it's going to kind of kill two birds with one stone for me. But you notice here it says ADO object source variable, and we're going to have to do something with that first. So what we're going to have to do is this is the perfect use for the ADO record set. So I'm going to drag a data flow onto here. I'm going to go in there, and I'm going to start with an OLEDB source. Go get back over here, and then I'm going to dump that into a record set destination, and that's what ADO record set means over there, is it's an ADO record set destination. So I'm going to come here, and I'm going to choose a small table location. You'll see here it's only got two values, right? Dallas and Santa Ana. There's nothing wrong with that. Take the columns. I don't really want the column ID. I just want the location ID. I just want the location name. But you could use both of them. It's really that easy. So I come here. Now, this is where it doesn't really get tricky, but you really have to think ahead here. I need to create a variable to hold this, to hold this in here, right? See, so it's right here, the variable name. So what this does is the record set destination, it takes an OLEDB source and it holds its result set in a variable so that you can access it from whatever location you want, right? I mean, you can now access this from any other transformer, any other box inside of your package, right? And that's a method of being able to pass record sets from one transform to another, or from one data flow to another, even, right? But what I have to do, I have to think about this, because if I create this variable here, this variable is gonna have the scope of the data flow task, okay? But I want to be able to see this scope from inside of here. So I have to come here and click on a blank spot in the control flow. I have to click on a blank spot in here so that I have a package level scope. So I'm going to name this something that I can remember. Let's see, I'm going to put that as location. We'll just call it location. Why not? And for this type, for the record set type, you have to set that to an object data type. Okay? I'm going to come back into our data flow. Then we'll click on that. I have to come here and I have to choose that one that I just set up. So location right there. And I have to choose my input columns right there. Now I'm good to go. My little line has gone away, right? I need to connect this to that so that it happens first. If I don't connect this to that, if I just do that and let them run at the same time, this will enumerate before this one has a chance to pull the data, and this one will error out because your loop variable won't have anything in it. So do this first, get the data in the record set, and then put it inside of here. So once we got that, we're going to come here and say, for each ADO enumerator, we're going to pick our location, right? And now, I think I have to go create another variable first. I think I have to do that first. No, it says new. Good. So I can create a new variable. Now, again, in this instance, I only care about this. I only care about this for each loop container, right? This loop container is the only thing I'm going to do in this instance. If I wanted to have access to this variable outside of this loop container, then I would have to come out here and create my variable first, right? So that it had a package scope, right? But since I'm inside the loop container, and I'll just go back in there where I was, I could go ahead and do it here too, right? I could create that and see it has the for each loop scope, which means that that loop container is the only one that can see that scope. So if I come back in here to variable mappings and say new variable, oh, look at that! I can choose a scope here. Good, good, good. So I want it to be of string type, absolutely. I want the name to be current location. So that'll just tell me that that's the current cursor location. And index value 0 here means that's the index in the record set. Okay, and it's a 0-based record set. I mean, it's a 0-based array. So had I come in here, had I 2 columns in here, which means I would have had to choose 2 columns here, right? If I chose both of these columns in here, then they would be 0 and 1. Okay, location ID would be 0, and location name would be index 1. And then the same here, there would be 0 and 1. So that now when I come back in here, there you go, I would have current location ID would be index 0, and then I could map another one here to current location name and say index 1. So that's how that works. So now I've got this mapped to that. And oh, I canceled out of that, didn't I? Well, fine, I'll have to redo it. For each ADO, set it to location, rows in the first table. That looks good. So now what I've got here is I've got a data flow that pulls data from a table, puts it in a variable in an object data type, and after it's done, it becomes the enumerator for my for each loop container. Now I have to do something with that, right? And just for the purposes of this simple talk, I'm going to throw it into a script task. There we go. And in this script task, I'll just double click on that. And I'm going to say this is read only, but I could say it's read write, right? I drag that over here so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm looking for my current location right there. Okay, so I've got to tell it that I want to be able to use that. And then I open up the script editor. I said I open up the script editor. It takes a minute on my box. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to do something simple like here. I'll just pop up a message box for each one of them. Okay, let's try this again. Right, message box, ATS dot variables. Is that it? Is it current location? Dot value. There we go. So I'm just gonna loop through these guys. And I'm gonna put up a message box, and just since I've only got 2 of them, I can afford to do that, right? Yep, current location. Good. And I did say close that. I believe I did. The box I'm on right now isn't particularly powerful, so you know, running my Camtasia and, you know, being on kind of a substandard box at the same time doesn't really help. Okay, I've got that. I'm going to go ahead and save it in case anything goes wonky. Okay. I'll play and see what happens. Okay, and it's going to take a second for it to pop up my box here. Here we go. It popped up on my other screen. There it is. So you can see there's Dallas. And then there's Santa Ana. And it worked like a charm. A little bit slow, you know, on this box, but you know, what are you going to do? So anyway, those are the basics of using the for each loop container, and good luck.